throughout the playoffs. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Joe Theismann. It's great to have you with us. Since the early 80s, the 49ers has set the standard for offense in the NFL. But what they've done in the last 5 games is remarkable, even the way they measure it. During that streak, they have averaged 450 yards and 38 points a game. Since they lost to Dallas, it's been a different club.
It really has, Mike. And the difference is it's now Steve Young's club. And he's been doing it by getting the ball to all his big play people. Ricky Waters, for example, in 5 games has 5 touchdowns. But Brett Jones has been scoring red hot in the red area. John Taylor, 6 catches last week, 150 yards. Jerry Rice, 10 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. Steve also told me something else, Mike, that's interesting. He said that he finally feels now that he and his football team are getting the respect that they deserve.
Tonight they'll be facing a defense for Cincinnati that really hasn't been all that bad, but it is a defense that forces the issue, and that can mean big plays for and against.
Yeah, Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals, told me, he said, we cannot get enough pressure on a quarterback with just 4 people. We're going to have to bring linebackers and defensive people. If they do that, they have to play man-to-man coverage. When I talked to the 49ers, they said, you know, studying film of the Bengals reminds us an awful lot of what we saw in Tampa Bay a few weeks ago. Tampa Bay, Mike.
Wasn't that the game where Jerry Rice had 4 touchdowns?
Tampa Bay, Mike. Yes, it was.
Touchdowns, of course, have been a big problem for Cincinnati. The offense has produced only 10 in the 11 games they've played. No wonder they've won just once. But David Shula says he sees improvement, especially at quarterback and in the play calling.
The reason why he sees improvement in play calling and at the quarterback position is because Ken Anderson has now taken over calling the plays for Mike Pope. David Klingler has completed 70% of his passes in the last 2 weeks. But if the Cincinnati Bengals really stand a chance tonight, they're going to have to do 2 things. They're going to have to establish the run, and they cannot turn the football over to that 49er offense.
David Shula in his 2nd season as the Bengals head coach. He won 5 as a rookie, but added only 1 so far this year, although several have been close. And George Seifert has compiled a remarkable record of 65-17 as the head coach. Now in his 5th year, he has won nearly 80% of his games. Ampley and Dexter Carter deep to receive, and Carter across the 20 and forced out of bounds after a fine return. Take a look at the 49er offense. Steve Young putting up brilliant numbers again. The NFL's highest-rated quarterback in his last 7 games. He has 16 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. Jerry Rice has become football's ultimate weapon. At 31, he still terrorizes secondaries and has a record 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Guy McIntyre, a 4-time Pro Bowler. He's very quick, athletic, and hits harder than his weight of 276. So the 49ers start from their own 35-yard line. And Young to throw on 1st down, throwing in rhythm, complete to right, across midfield to the 23-yard line. Well, they don't waste much time, do they?
No, they really don't. As a matter of fact, that was the big thing that the Cincinnati Bengals were concerned with. They realized that the wide receivers of the 49ers were going to catch short passes. This is only a 9-yard route. But this 9-yard route now turns into a big game because they can't tackle Jerry Rice. They're going to have to let him catch the ball, but they're going to have to hit him before they can get going upfield.
A gain of 44 on the opening offensive play. Young throws to Taylor, this time inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line where Vincent and McDonald made the tackle. No one fights the good fight like Tim Crumry. A broken leg 4 years ago took away his Pro Bowl edge, but he's still tough against the run. Ricardo McDonald won a starting job as a rookie. Now in his 2nd year, he's an every-down player and leads the team in tackles. The coaches rave about Darrell Williams. He has all the tools to be an outstanding free safety. He was a 1st-round pick from Miami last year. The 49ers have it inside the 7-yard line. Waters and Logan the backs. Waters on the sweep. McIntyre, nice block. Tovar got a piece of him, but Waters still inside the 5 near the 2-yard line. Fernandez Vincent made a tackle. Steve Young has been on a tear that you don't often see at any level of football. 71% in his last 5 games, 14 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Well, I came out here and had to interview him before the Dallas game, and he said to me, he said, Joe, I cannot afford to throw any interceptions the rest of the season. That's when he had, I think, 8.
Right.
And now he has just 9, and that's exactly what he's doing.
2 tight ends. Jamie Williams checks into the ball game. Second down from the 2. Waters. He'll walk in. Touchdown, 49ers.
If you don't take a good angle, watch number 56, Ricardo McDonald. He comes up the field instead of trying to get outside at Waters. What happens is he winds up running into his own defensive lineman, never gets a shot at him to make a play.
Kofer on for the point after. Well, it took him a couple of heartbeats, and they scored. 7-0. Waters finishes off the drive set up by Young's passing. 7-0.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by the Lee Apparel Company. With regular, relaxed, and loose-fit jeans and casual pants, Lee is the brand that fits. And by the awesome sports lineup of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. No wonder you find the best play here.
49ers score almost instantly and take a 7-0 lead over the Cincinnati Bengals. Kofer to kick. Ostel Miles and Patrick Robinson are deep. Robinson driven 5 yards deep in the end zone. Can't handle it. And Cincinnati will start at the 20. Look at their offense. David Klingler, the Bengals' future. An excellent athlete with a rifle arm. He's still learning after a run-and-shoot college career. Harold Green rushed for over 1,100 yards last year with few holes to run through this season. He's averaging just 2.5 yards a carry. Bruce Kozerski, the veteran up front, he's back at center after a season at guard. He's much more effective in the middle. And the offensive line has been a big problem area for Cincinnati. Green into single setback. And Green will get the carry. Pick up about 3. And Joe, we will probably see an awful lot of that tonight, especially since the 49ers line has been a major problem because of multiple injuries. Rookie Dana Stubblefield has been a major plus with 7.5 sacks. Bill Romanowski has been an NFL rarity, and every down linebacker. He leads the defense in tackles with 68. The secondary has played well and got a boost when Merton Hanks won the free safety job. He's made big plays and has 3 interceptions. 2nd and 7 for Cincinnati opening possession. Klingler to throw. Dumps it short to his tight end, the rookie McGee, across the 30 for a first down. Normally, we do not talk about the point spread, but tonight, earlier this week, it was 24. It was dropped to 23 at game time, and we've gone back and tried to research it. 1976 and 1966 were the only times when the point spread was higher than this. Is that a motivational factor for Cincinnati?
I think it is, Mike.
Fenner and Green in the backfield together. And they'll whistle the play dead. Let's go back to the point spread part of it. That's got to be a little bit insulting to a group of professional football players.
Before the snap, false start. Number 82 on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
It is insulting, Mike. But, you know, in truth, and you talk to the players, they don't pay much attention to point spreads and lines. Matter of fact, they pay no attention. I know I did when I played. It doesn't matter. You know you have to line up. And if you beat them by 1 or you beat them by 20, it doesn't matter. All you want to do is win.
1st and 15 after the penalty on McGee, who moved early. Nice fake by Klingler. Throws short, and Pickens can't hold it.
What we've seen in the last 2 plays of the Cincinnati Bengals, Mike, is what they cannot afford to do. They can't put themselves in long yardage situations coming up 2nd or 1st and 15. And if you have a chance to make a catch, you got to make a catch. That's Ken Anderson, the great Cincinnati Bengal quarterback, who has taken over play calling in the last couple of weeks. And he said all he wants to do is give David Klingler things that he does well.
2nd and 15. And Green with a little room to run. Romanowski, one of the first men that got him at the 29-yard line.
You know, Mike, the key for the Cincinnati offense is to stay on the field as long as you can. They picked up a first down on the first time they had the ball. Now they've got the first down. They start this. They get a little penalty. They drop a pass. They wind up in 3rd and long. This is not a high percentage situation for a quarterback or an offense to convert.
And Cincinnati certainly can't afford to get into a scoring duel. Patrick Robinson, number 81, checks in at wide receiver on 3rd and 12. Fenner is the single setback. Comes the blitz on Klingler. Across the 40, 45-yard line. Good run by Klingler, chased out of bounds by Stubblefield. A gain of 15.
Mike, that's a combination of two things. First of all, David Klingler is a great athlete. I wouldn't put him in the category of Steve Young, but here he shows that he has good vision, good mobility. And what I like about it here is when he decides to run, he makes up his mind to run. See, there's no hesitation, no playing with the ball. That's why he was able to get the first down. Also, the San Francisco 49ers cannot generate enough pass rush with a few people, so there's going to be holes there for him to run to.
You saw Merton Hanks, number 36, come on the blitz on the last play, so it's another first down for the Bengals, own 45. Klingler to throw in first down, more pressure, dumps it short to Green, who lost his footing, and goes down after a gain of a couple.
I want to mention this right now. You saw Harold Green slip. We're right on the bay. And what happens is the grass is cut fairly thin, fairly close to the ground. So what's going to happen is as the night goes on, it's going to get a little bit of a dew on it. And unless you have the proper long spikes on, you will see more guys slipping as this game goes on, coming out of breaks and trying to make moves.
Bengals right now doing exactly what they wanted to do in the game plan. That's keep the ball, take time off the clock. There's a flag down, and it was a double clutch by the center, Bruce Kozerski. And that will cost the Bengals 5.
Jerry, good for tonight.
You know, I mean, for me, if you're into your 11th game of the season, 12th game of the season, 12th, 13th week.
Illegal snap, illegal procedure on the center, number 64. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
That's the kind of stuff that frustrates David Shula. Watch this. You'll see the center starts to bring it, doesn't bring it. That's what happens when you get a young quarterback playing against a great football team.
And that's what you don't expect out of your most veteran offensive lineman in Kozerski. 2nd and 13. Draw to Green. Room to run. Harold Green to the 45, running hard to the 42-yard line. It will be another Cincinnati first down after a gain of 17 for Harold Green, and he hasn't had many of those this year.
What happens here is what you want to do is invite the defense up the field. You make it look like a pass. Here comes the pass rush. All right, everybody turn a body. Turn, and if you have to, wrestle them and take them down. So what happens is now Green's got a great lane to run to. Again, the problem for the 49ers is going to be on the defensive side of the ball.
Bengals averaging 9.5 yards a rush on the ground. Green again. Tried to cut back. They filled the hole. He got to the 40. Romanowski got a piece of it.
That defensive line of the 49ers has been beat up all over the place. I mean, Mark Thomas, he's playing the elephant position. The reason they've gone back to this so-called elephant defense, and that elephant is like a hybrid. You're not quite a linebacker. You're not quite a defensive end, so that's how the terminology came up. But they lost Kevin Fagan last week. They wanted to commit to a 4 down. They don't have the people to do it.
Fagan is out. Washington is out. Martin Harrison is out tonight. Of course, they lost Pierce Holt to free agency, so it's a decimated front 4. Klingler under pressure. Used the official to get out of the way, and now gets out of bounds at the 38-yard line. He was being chased by Dennis Brown, the left defensive end.
I like his composure a lot. David Klingler is really, really maturing as a quarterback. I think he's fighting a couple of different things. He's fighting youth and not seeing as much as he will see as the years go on, but also he's fighting adjustment to being a drop-back passer. The run and shoot causes you to throw off balance a lot. He does that very well. He must learn to throw on balance and play within his body.
This drive nearly 5 minutes off the clock so far. 3rd and 5 for Cincinnati. And now Klingler is going to have to take a timeout to avoid the delay penalty. It's 7-0. 49ers back in a moment. his defense burned early. Now he's watching his offense come back. They've controlled the ball for over 5 minutes on this drive. Exactly what they wanted to do because it keeps that guy on the sideline along with Young and Taylor and Jones and Waters and all the rest of them.
When you can put Jerry Rice and Steve Young in a jacket to stay warm on the sidelines, you know your offense is doing a good job.
3rd and 5 for the Bengals. Jeff Query can't hear as Klingler changes the play. Klingler dumps it to Fenner. Needs a couple of more yards and won't get there. Nice tackle by Tim McDonald, who was a tremendous offseason acquisition from the Phoenix Cardinals.
Now, if you're David Shula, you're 1 in 10. You got 3rd down and a yard. I think why not? I really think that this is an opportunity for you to get a first down. Your football team is looking for a reason to get excited. This is a chance to do it.
And they've been moving the ball.
They have. And I got to think if you're going to go after the 49er defense, you're going to have to go after them between the tackles. Because they didn't change personnel, didn't bring in big people.
Fenner is the single setback. Gets 4th and a little more than a yard. Klingler to throw for it. And throws complete to McGee. Shakes a tackle to the 15 to the 11-yard line. The 246-pound rookie from Michigan, a gain of 23.
Tony McGee's just going to run a little stop. Right part of your screen, number 82. Releases inside, quick turnout, knows where the first down is. Merton Hanks tries to make a play on it. He can't. Now McGee runs like a fullback.
McGee, a solid player out of college. And now Green goes back to tailback, so they gamble on 4th and 1 and make it. And they have a 1st and 10 at the 11. Klingler for the end zone. It's intercepted. Picked off by Eric Davis, his 4th interception of the season.
David Klingler had what he wanted. He just didn't get the ball out front. Eric Davis makes a really nice play. You're looking at it as Klingler sees it. He knows he's got the one-on-one. He sets, he throws, but the ball's a little bit behind. Just a little bit behind. Davis has a chance to close on it.
Intended for Pickens, instead picked off by Davis. 49ers take over at the 20 after the interception. Tom Rathman is into the ball game at fullback. Coming off an injury, they want to work him back in the lineup. Intended for Rathman over the middle, and he was covered well. Darrell Williams, the free safety, planted his shoulder pad right in the middle of his back.
And Tom Rathman's not going to play a whole lot. He's only at about 80% with that shoulder. It's going to take him all year to get it back. But as they get closer to the playoffs, he's going to spell Mark Logan, get a chance to get back in the rhythm of things.
And hasn't Logan done a tremendous job filling in for him?
That is.
2nd and 10 for the 49ers. 6 minutes even to go first period. Waters on the toss. Good block by Rathman. Flag is down as Waters picks up 6. Ricardo McDonald made another tackle. 2nd-year man out of Pittsburgh. And this one will come back.
You know, George Seifert
During the run, holding number 64 on the offense. 10 yards, still 2nd down.
George Seifert's got to be a little bit concerned coming in because and it always scares me as a quarterback. I'm sure it scares coaches. When you go down the field with your first possession and it looks like a hot knife going through butter, the coach has got to stand there and the players start thinking, boy, this is easy. Then it starts catching up with you.
Spotted back at the 10, 2nd and 20. Young has this one batted down, caught it himself. And he'll lose 4. That's his 2nd reception of the season. He might just as well have dropped that.
Yeah, I don't think he really prefers to be catching his own passes. I mean, that time, great play by the front, the rush up front. What they're going to do defensively, they know the Niners are throwing short passes, so here comes the rush. Alfred Williams just gets that right hand up, swats it back at Young, and Steve, natural athlete, trying to make something happen, doesn't.
James Francis ran him down from behind, a loss of 4, 3rd and 24.
This is where Cincinnati's got to shut him down.
Young into his own end zone. And he's sacked. Alfred Williams from the blitzing linebacker comes through and gets 2 for the Bengals. You just said they had to shut him down. I don't think they had hoped for that much.
No, they didn't. But what they did is they made Steve Young hold the football longer than he wanted to because he was trying to go up the field with the route that would get him to 24 yards. He's going to be looking right at you on this reverse angle. Now, watch how long he holds the ball. See how he starts to go? Doesn't have time to get rid of it.
A break for the Bengals. They get on the scoreboard courtesy of their defense. Time warp. You are watching football in spite of the 7-2 score. Cincinnati gets the safety, and now Klaus Wilmsmeyer with the free kick. Pickens and Robinson wait at their own 25-yard line. And the crowd has gone suddenly quiet after Cincinnati gets the safety. Robinson backs to his 21. Gets out near the 40-yard line before he's dragged down. Nate Singleton got a piece of it.
On that last sack and safety, Mike, watch Williams. He's way out of the picture. You can't see it, but he's going to loop all the way around and vacate the area where the right guard, Ralph Tams, is helping out. See, he doesn't see him coming, so they help on Crumry. Young doesn't expect it, and Williams winds up right in Young's face.
So the Bengals set up shop just shy of their own 40-yard line. Green, the single setback. Will they go back to the ground? They will. And the 49ers waiting for it, too. A loss of a yard as McDonald is up from the strong safety spot.
I think that's what the Niners are going to have to do, Mike. They actually have the same problem that the Bengals have on defense. They can't generate enough pressure on a quarterback rushing 3 or 4 people. So they'll bring McDonald, they'll bring Tovar, they'll move it inside out with their inside backers to get pressure.
Especially with all the injuries they've had up front. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 for Klingler. Four-man rush. Klingler in the flat to Green. Slips one tackle, and look at all the shirts from the 49ers defense all over him at the 38-yard line. Hope you'll be with us every Sunday at noon Eastern for NFL Game Day. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Chris Mortensen, and Joe Theismann with a comprehensive pregame show. They'll let you know what's going on around the NFL. Then at 7, prime time. All the highlights of all the games. And then at 8 o'clock, Joe and I will be at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego as the Packers take on the Chargers. Sterling Sharp, the NFL's leading receiver. Both of those clubs now 6-6, fighting for a wild card spot. That will be, the Packers 7-5. That will be a big ball game. Klingler dumps it to Fenner. Romanowski makes the tackle as he got to the 48-yard line, a couple of yards short of a first down.
Now, in this case, even though you're a couple yards short, Mike, I think you have to punt the football because your defense is playing pretty well.
Lee Johnson, who has been an outstanding punter this season, averaging 44.7. And Dexter Carter back at his own 10-yard line. And Carter's had a terrific year as a return man. High sailing punt. Carter all the way back to his 6-yard line. Looked like they might have had a reverse setup, but they didn't get there. A return of 3 after a punt of 46. .219 to go first quarter.
Mike, you were right. I believe that if they didn't have one set up, they were taking a look and seeing what Cincinnati's going to do on their coverage team and may try and come back with one.
Cincinnati has been hurt this year on return teams. So San Francisco's ball, 2 possessions, 1 touchdown, and 1 safety. Waters. And tripped up. Crumright pins him as he got to about the 12-yard line. But it was Steve Tovar who made the tackle, the rookie from Ohio State, 3rd-round draft choice.
You know, it's interesting, Mike, when you talk to the Cincinnati Bengals as a whole defensively, and Ron Lynn, their defensive coordinator in particular, he thinks that with Ricky Waters as their running back, that this 49er team is a bit more explosive, even when Roger Craig was in the backfield. More speed.
Young throws complete to Brent Jones, and Jones across the 20 for a first down near the 23-yard line.
Brent Jones makes this San Francisco 49er offense. We see a lot of teams around the league trying to run it. The Washington Redskins wanted to go to this style of offense. We know the Packers run it. And what happens is the key to it is getting the ball to a tight end who can block when he has to, but has great hands. And that's what Brent Jones has. He has great ability in the open field to run and great hands to catch a ball.
Plus, when you have 2 tremendous wideouts, a 1,000-yard running back, the quarterback is hitting 78%. I don't care what offense you run. Young straight back to throw this time. And drilled by Steve Tovar. Ball came loose. The officials say it was down. Boy, Young was caught straight up by the 244-pound rookie linebacker and paid for it.
John Taylor is waving somebody out on the field. Steve really took a shot that time, and that's one of those, you get up high, you get slammed down, you make the head a little bit dizzy. Another great job by that defense. Good coverage downfield, no place to go with the football. Hold it down, watch 51. And then a body slam down.
Play clock is already down to 2 seconds, and Young has to burn a timeout to prevent the 5-yard delay of game penalty. And probably he needs to break. These beautiful aerial shots, courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based out of Carson, California. The pilot tonight, Nick Nicolari from Lake Forest, California. And a beautiful night to fly above San Francisco.
I think that timeout came at a very appropriate time, and I'll tell you why. The reason why the 40-second clock ran down as long as it did was because Steve Young was on the ground for a while. Got a little shaky, got back to the huddle. When you get hit, you get back to the huddle. Things don't flow out of your mouth as easily. You know, it's like your tongue is too big, your teeth are falling.
Of course, the last 5 games, Steve Young has been on just a tear. In the first 6, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, reverse at 14-1 in the last 5. Remember, he started the season with a fractured thumb.
Mike, we talked about this at the cut-in on SportsCenter earlier. I think the big difference is that he is developing a communication, a non-verbal communication with his wide receivers. They're also running some great pass routes for
him. Waters on the sweep. Cincinnati strings it out to the sideline. As we said at the beginning, the Bengals defense hasn't been that bad this year, but when your offense can't produce any points, you can't win.
Daniel Stubbs, number 96, does a great job of fighting off the block at the point of attack. And then, of course, you know, number 69, Tim Crumright, is going to get over there. See him flow with Sapolo? Look at him run. That guy has a rod in his leg, and he just keeps on going, sideline to sideline. And past the sideline.
And that is the end of the first quarter here at Candlestick. San Francisco 7. 49ers and Bengals met in Super Bowl 23. Since then, they've gone in opposite directions. Here's Ross Perot to tell you why.
The 49ers and the Bengals. What in tarnation has happened to these two since Super Bowl 23? Now, the 49ers have enjoyed great success due in large part to a talent pool whose output has matched management's outlays. You see? As for Cincinnati, wins in that same time span are the 4th worst in the NFL. 1993's combined salary is the lowest in the league. You see a pattern developing? Let me finish. Folks, here's the new math. You must spin to win. Just try it.
Lays it on the line, doesn't he? San Francisco with the ball at the 30, 3rd and 4. Young with plenty of time. And that ball, I think, would be ruled uncatchable because Brent Jones was bumped as the ball came down. Marcelo Simmons hit him, but it was well overthrown.
Cincinnati's defense is doing the job. I talked to Mike Pope, the offensive coordinator, on the field at the beginning of the game. He said, we want to keep the ball at least 34 minutes. Time of possession in the first quarter, Cincinnati 9:22, San Francisco 5:38. They're right on schedule.
Wilmsmeyer, who has only punted 29 times this year, and you can understand that with 49ers offense, kicking to Robinson, the rookie out of Tennessee State. He was waived by the Oilers. They tried to get him back, but couldn't sneak him through waivers. Robinson comes up, can't make the catch, and the ball bounces inside the 30-yard line, a kick of 43 yards. David Shula, of course, has no control as far as the front office and what players are signed as free agents. All he can do is run the ship that's given him. And General Manager Mike Brown said that you can't blame David because you can't make rabbit stew without rabbits. Well, that is the gentleman who is in charge of procuring rabbits.
I think he'll do some procuring of rabbits next year.
He says he will be active in the free agent market when a lot of teams, because of the salary cap, have to cut players. Klingler straight back to third, dumps it to Green. One blocker in front of him. And Mike Walter, the 11-year middle linebacker, comes over to make the tackle.
Kenny Anderson's doing a great job with this offense. He is giving David Klingler plays that he has one read to look at and some place to go with the football. He's not putting a lot of pressure on his quarterback. He's allowing him to go out and just read, look, and fire. That gets his offense into momentum.
2nd and 5. Split the backs, almost a double wing setup. Klingler throws behind Jeff Query. Had him on the slant coming across Eric Davis, the closest 49er to it.
Now remember, he threw almost the same kind of pass as an interception behind Pickens in the end zone on the drive before. Now he comes out, they run a quick post, he throws the ball behind the receiver again. If I was Ken Anderson, I wouldn't let him throw any more of those. I don't think he's ready for that yet.
3rd and 5 after the incompletion. Draw Fenner. Slipped a couple of tackles and dives forward. He is close to the sticks. The mark coming in from the sideline. And it may be close enough to measure. McDonald and Romanowski made the tackle. Nice effort by Fenner, who didn't look like he was going to get anything. Joe, you really have to admire the Bengals so far tonight. I mean, here they are, 23, 24-point underdogs. One win all year against a tremendous offensive team in San Francisco. What are they doing? They're within 5 points, and they're executing their game plan.
Well, they are. And you bring up a very important point there, Mike. They are executing their game plan, but also you have to remember, they've been in a lot of football games.
Yes, they have.
I don't really believe the 110 is a reflection of the quality of play or the players that they have on that football team.
They are about an inch short, and the punting unit will come on.
Good decision by David Shula. That's just a good, smart decision. But now he thinks, wait a second, that's a good, smart decision, but heck, we're 1-10. Let's go for it.
Huge
That's
gamble here,
decision.
and the 49ers scrambling to get the defense back out on the field. From their own 38-yard line, 2nd quarter, 4th and an inch. They've already made 1 4th down.
They forced the 49ers to call a timeout.
We'll check it when we come back. Will they still go on 4th and an inch?
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Logo Athletic. Get real with authentic team apparel. By Bud Dry, the less filling beer with a lot more taste. Why ask why? And by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard.
4th and an inch from their own 38. The Bengals will go for it. Miles and Fenner are the running backs. Fenner got it. Oh, what a gutsy call.
Boy, you got to like David Shula's approach to the game. He realizes that what he's on, he's a mission to, yes, win a football game, but also he's trying to give his football team some confidence. That's a great way of doing it. I particularly don't agree with the call. I think he should have punted it away, but I like his approach. I like the way he's going at it for his ball club.
If you don't make it, you give the ball to the 49ers at your own 40. Look at the time of possession. Exactly what the Bengals wanted to do. Green in the eye. Play action Klingler to Fenner. And Fenner out to the 47. Antonio Goss, who is playing for John Johnson, another defensive player, out tonight.
Mike, San Francisco had troubles with this particular style of defense early in the year, the elephant defense, the modified 3-4. They went to 4 down linemen. Now they're forced back into this, and they are in a defense they really don't want to try and play, but they have to.
Second down, 4 yards to go for the Bengals. Green to the 50 near another first down.
And Harold Green slipped again. Martin Harrison on your left, Ted Washington on your right. Those are 2 reasons why the 49ers have been forced to go back to the elephant defense.
Larry Roberts also banged up. As Joe told you earlier, Kevin Fagan is out with a knee injury. He's gone for the season, and he was their best run stopper. So an area of concern for George Seifert. It is a first down, Cincinnati at midfield. Green again. Hurdles 1 tackler, then knocked back after a gain of about 3. Antonio Goss was the man who made the big hit after Tim McDonald made first contact.
David Klingler's putting a real good show on. 8 for 11, 57 yards. I mean, and his passing is ball control style passing. 5 to the running backs, 2 to the tight ends, 0 to his wide receivers.
The play selection so far, 11 and 11. The balance you always hear coaches talk about. Green. First down to the 35-yard line. Late flag, 2 of them.
Probably going to wind up with a face mask penalty. It happens quite often on the sidelines when a linebacker's trying to get a hand on a running back.
Could have been Romanowski. He was right there. And the Bengals sideline applauding. And Red Cashin says it is a face mask.
Michael, when you talk to the 49ers defensively, one of the big concerns they had was the fact that this offensive unit is the second largest. Watch the push that they get on that front of the 49ers. It's just body on body. See them push them? You barely see a 49er penetrate. They were concerned outside of the Giants. This is the second biggest offensive line that they faced all year.
First and 10 Bengals, and the crowd getting a little restless. 49ers lead only 7-2. And Green trying to get the snap count. Play clock at 3. And they'll never get it off. They have to use their second timeout with 10:40 to go first half. It's a 5-point ball game. In the NFL this season, tonight's game encompasses almost the full 180 degrees of the NFL point spectrum. Checking in at number 1, the 49ers, averaging a gaudy 30.2 points a game. Almost a full 12 points above the league average, which is 18-5. And the Bengals, with their 11.6 per game, are 27th in the league, only a 1/10 of a point ahead of the New England Patriots.
Meow. There was no loud roar there.
This kitty is roaring a little louder tonight. The Bengals, first and 10 in 49er territory. They go with a double tight end. Green. Couldn't get outside. Cut down at the line of scrimmage. Mark Thomas, the second-year man out of North Carolina State.
Oh, that's just a terrific job. They really had that right corner sealed, and Thomas just fought the block off and made the play. Watch this lower part of your screen, number 72. Fights the tackle off. Controls him with his hands, then comes in, makes the play on Green. He is the elephant man.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10 for Klingler. Blitz, and they go to Green on the draw, and he tripped up. Got back to the line of scrimmage, no more. Dennis Brown may have gotten a piece of him, and it looked like he also ran into his own man.
Blitzes, Mike, when you talk about red dogs, that means that linebackers are coming. You talk about blitzes, that means secondary people are coming. I think the 49ers are better off making David Klingler throw the football. Bring your backers, bring your secondary people. Make David Klingler beat you. Don't let Harold Green beat you.
And try to get your offense back on the field. 3rd and 10. Fenner is the single setback. 4-man rush. Klingler throws sidearm into the end zone, incomplete. It was intended for Patrick Robinson, but he was well covered. You can tell what kind of an arm Klingler has, running to his left, off balance, sidearms.
Well, that's the thing. I really think that he had to do that a lot when he was in college. Not run left and throw sidearm, but throw a lot of passes where you really didn't have your feet set underneath you because of the nature of that run and shoot offense. And he will get better and better as he works in the pocket. I had to. That was the one thing I really had to learn, was to become a pocket passer.
Rookie Doug Pelfrey has been quite a find for this club. He's had an excellent rookie year. Tries from 48 yards. Plenty of distance and knocks it through. Pelfrey now 18 out of 23. The Bengals with a 3-run triple have cut it to 2. Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Beautiful sight. And it's 7-5, 49ers. Pelfrey to kick to a couple of Florida State alums, Hampley and Dexter Carter. Carter on the run. Whacked as he got to the 28-yard line. It was Brad Smith, a linebacker. Hope you'll be with ESPN tomorrow night at 7:30. NFL Prime Monday. Mike Tirico, Joe Theismann, and Craig James preview the Monday night game between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Live reports from Texas Stadium with Andrea Kramer. Chris Mortensen will have all the breaking news around the league. And downtown, Julie Brown goes backstage with Randall Cunningham. That's NFL Prime Monday tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. The 49ers have been quiet since their opening drive. Rathman and Waters behind Young. And Young throws behind Jerry Rice by about 3 yards and nearly had it picked off.
What happens here, Mike, is the Cincinnati defense wants to try and disrupt this coordinated passing game that the 49ers have. Watch what happens at the line of scrimmage. Now, Jerry Rice is allowed to get bumped at 5 yards, but also Michael Brim does not have to give up his position on the field. It's up to the offensive player to avoid contact, and that forces Young to throw behind him.
And Darrell Williams tried to short hop it for the interception. Young with time. Did Waters come up with it? He did. Great catch by Waters out of the backfield. Vincent was on him, but he still made the grab.
This is a dimension that Ricky Waters brings to the offense. At Notre Dame, he was a wide receiver originally. Played a lot of wide receiver. Look at this catch. Excellent job of concentration. Gets the ball on his forearm, almost, and they give him a completion.
Low and behind him, and he spun and made the catch. It is a first down for the 49ers. .8:15 to go in the first half. Only a 2-point lead for San Francisco. And now Young has to use another timeout. Play clock had gotten down to 2. It's a 2-point game. Stay with us. 5 San Francisco.
Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator, told me that what he wanted to do was try and move people around, give Steve Young a lot to look at, and confuse him a little bit, and I think that's what he's doing. Also, he feels that that's the advantage that his football team will have, is line people up in different places where the 49ers haven't seen him in film study all week.
49ers are out of timeouts with 8:11 to go in the half. Waters on the delay, picking his way through tacklers. That's about the 43-yard line. Crumrine made the tackle.
You know, if the 49ers, Mike, are supposed to or have to run the football and take time off the clock, That's just as good to the Cincinnati Bengals as long as they don't put points on the board.
Cincinnati has already run 27 plays in the first half to only 15 for the 49ers. That was the ball control that they wanted coming in. 2nd and 5. Young goes for all right. And Rice has it picked off by Brim. Somebody else made a sensational catch against the 49ers. Mike Brim with his 2nd interception of the year and a return of 28. And I'll guarantee you, 66,000 people in the stadium thought when the ball bounced up in the air, Jerry Rice would get it. There's a flag on the play. I think it was on the return.
Personal foul against the San Francisco 49ers, so they're going to tack on some more yards. I think this is a great call by Mike Shanahan and the offense. Just go up top. Jerry Rice, lower left-hand corner, Steve Young. There's the play-action fake. Now, this is just a go. You put your big gun out there, you let your big gun throw it down. He's going to try and make another one-handed catch. He's so good at it, but that time he keeps the ball alive for Brim, who makes the play. Watch this. He caught one last week, one-handed, thought he might be able to get another one.
Brim had 6 interceptions a year ago for the Jets, signed as a free agent. And after the penalty, Cincinnati sets up at the San Francisco 45. Klingler chase. Flag is down. Klingler gets 5 and gets out of bounds. We'll check the penalty. Back in the area where you normally have holding. And this one will come back.
That time, David Klingler had to hold the football a little bit longer, and if that happens, it puts a lot more pressure on his offensive line.
Holding, number 73 on the offense. 10 yards, still first down.
And that's veteran left guard Ken Moyer. Only the Raiders and the Broncos offensive units have been penalized more this year than Cincinnati's offense. And when you don't have much firepower, that adds a lot to your problem. Klingler on 1st and 20 to Fenner. Fenner maintains his balance, gets down to the 38. There is another flag down in the Bengals backfield. But this will go against San Francisco.
George Seifert waiting for the call. Number 96, Dennis Brown, winds up getting tagged with this one.
Question is, will it be 5 or 15?
Illegal use of the hands, grabbing the face mask. Number 96 on the defense. That penalty is declined. It'll be 2nd down.
Left defensive end, number 96, Dennis Brown, or I should say defensive tackle, comes in with the rip move on the right hand, but he's got the left hand on the face mask. David Klingler, that time was in a 5-step rhythm, did a nice job of getting the ball to Fenner, does a good job of covering up when traffic comes, but can't quite keep his feet.
Fenner, of course, had an outstanding career in Seattle. His best season, he rushed for 859 yards there.
Penalty is declined. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
So spot the ball at the 37-yard line. Clock down to 6:49.
And you mentioned a big word there is clock, Mike,
yeah.
Because, you know, you get a first down here, you can pretty much guarantee, because the Niners don't have any timeouts, you can basically use up enough time to get at least a field goal, possibly a touchdown, if you're real smart with what you're using as far as your time goes. I think David Klingler is asking Red Cash, and he's saying, listen, Isn't the face mask penalty tacked on? But that would be a 15-yard if it was a personal foul. This is an interior lineman's hands to the face. It is not a dead ball foul, and it can be declined. That's what he's explaining to David Klingler right now. David, don't touch the referee, David. First rule of professional football.
It's always great to do a game with Red Cashin. He is very enthusiastic about what he does.
Oh, yeah.
Explaining all the options to Klingler, although in this situation, I don't think Klingler has any options. Obviously, David Shula.
That's right, Dave. We want the ball right where it is. Tell him, David. David Klingler, go back to the huddle. David Shula, run the show.
This one shouldn't be this hard. And now Red Cashin will explain to David Shula. 15 minutes and 30 seconds, more than twice what San Francisco has in time of possession. And if you would ask David Shula if that would have been fine with him when this game started, he would have been smiling ear to ear.
Well, you know, he mentioned last night to us, Mike, when we talked, that, you know, his football team's been in 5 games. I mean, last week they had the possession 38 minutes against the Raiders, so it's something they want to do.
20 to start the play. It would have been a 5-yard penalty, but a first down, so it would have been 5 yards and an automatic first down. They elected to take the play. It's 2nd down and 2.
Thank you, Ed.
Because they got the big gain out of the play, and we're facing 2nd and 20. They'll go with 2 tight ends and Harold Green. And Green has the first down and driving tacklers forward to the 30. Harold Green, 11 carries, 48 yards.
Big key here, Mike, is the push by the right side of that offensive line. Joe Walter, Tony McGee, Scott Brumfield. See, they just push. It's man on man, and the 49ers are not big up front.
Green is within 20 yards already of his high for the season. Green gets the carry again, spins, and will pick up a couple before he's gang tackled there. Walter and Romanowski, the first men to hit him.
You know, I think you come back now on 2nd down, you give David a nice quick 5-step drop, hit Fenner out of the backfield, maybe Jackson, maybe McGee the tight end, but they're just staying away from the wide receivers, which it takes longer to pass block for. It's good game planning by Ken Anderson and Mike Pope, their offensive coordinator.
Cincinnati needing only 4 more yards to hit their season's average for an entire game in this half. Klingler with time, dumps it to Green, juggling catch. Got to the 24-yard line. He'll be about make it the 23. He'll be 3 yards shy of a first down.
Now you're the free safety, Tim McDonald. You see what's happening. This is from our goalpost cam. He goes back into center field. Klingler doing a nice job staying in the pocket. Green staying with it. There's Klingler's pass distribution. 8 running backs, 2 tight ends. No wideouts have caught a ball tonight.
3rd and 3. 4-man rush. Klingler trying to run for it, he won't get there. It's a saving tackle by Troy Wilson, the rookie from Pittsburgh, Kansas. And now the field goal unit will come on with a chance to take the lead on the 49ers.
The other thing you have to be concerned with here, Mike, is that remember, this is a team that's really going nowhere. Their last game's going to be in January. You know, special teams-wise, they can do whatever they want also. They don't have to just kick this thing.
Pelfrey already 1 for 1. He'll try this from 39 yards. Nails another one. And the Cincinnati Bengals, 24-point underdogs, have parlayed a couple of field goals and a safety to take a lead on the San Francisco 49ers. Holy cow. Be with us on Tuesday night, a college basketball doubleheader at 7:30. Notre Dame takes on number 21 Indiana, coming off that big upset of Kentucky. Then at 9:30, a very strong young Maryland team goes against Oklahoma. That's a 9:30 start. Gary Williams already with a huge win this year in his opener against Georgetown. Right now, if you are a 49er, what is going through your mind? You are supposed to walk over these guys.
Well, yeah, that's what the media said. That's what the newspapers said. But the 49ers, you watch them work all week and you talk to them, they realize that this Cincinnati team is better than their record. Remember, I'll tell you one thing. We talked about Tampa Bay in the open.
Right.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers moved the football against this 49er team real well. The only thing that killed them was turnovers. So, I mean, you take away the turnovers that Tampa Bay made, and you've got a Cincinnati team that's got an 8-7 lead.
And what a sharp game plan they've drawn up, especially considering the 49ers' injuries along the front line.
This is as close to perfect as the Cincinnati Bengals could play. Few mistakes, no turnovers, playing smart football.
Now with 3:41 to go, you want to try to avoid being burned by the big play. Ampley and Dexter Carter are deep. Line drive kick. Carter at the 6. That's a seam up the middle, but can't get there. Nailed at the 24-yard line. R.J. Coors, another free agent, down to make the tackle. One of the world's most enduring corporate symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California, giving us these beautiful aerial pictures tonight. Goodyear Blimps have been flying over major sporting events since 1925.
Mike, I think if you're the 49ers, you have to come out throwing because that's what you do. And that's the way you're going to move the football.
Instead, they give it to Waters on the ground, and he'll get about 7 yards. 49ers hustling back, and look at Waters. He wants the crowd into it. They have been very quiet tonight.
Well, Cincinnati has taken the crowd out of this game. You got 11 on 11 on the field without that 12th man helping out.
2nd and 3. Outside of the opening possession, the 49ers have done virtually nothing on offense. Logan on the toss. He stopped short of a first down. Nice tackle by Tovar, who has been on a couple of big hits tonight. And Ricardo McDonald was also over there. Tovar, the 3rd-round pick out of Ohio State, 244-pound rookie. Very young defensive unit, with the exception of a guy like Crumrod.
This was always the scariest thing, I think, for our defensive coaches when I played, is you have to be really conscious of possibly somebody breaking through because everybody's so close to the line of scrimmage. This is where big plays are given up.
And I think the Bengals were very concerned about it and used a timeout to stop the clock with 2:31 to go in the half. Now neither team has a timeout left in the first half.
I don't think Michael and you and I have done a game in all the years, 7, 8 years we've been working together, that we've seen both teams use up all their timeouts before we got to the 2-minute warning.
I agree with you. I cannot remember it happening. And as we watch games during this year, and there's some evidence of some hard-hitting early. Randy Kirk sporting a little souvenir from this one. Well, it looks like old-time football players, doesn't it?
Sure. Look at that. Let me just tear that bottle out of my... Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator, sees what's happening on the field and is still trying to look at what's going on the field.
3rd and inches. They'll give it to Logan. Runs through. Vincent has the first down at the 38-yard line.
Nice hard running by Logan. Now Steve Young's going to go into the 2-minute offense. This is where he is so efficient and proficient at running this offense.
Plenty of time on the clock. 2:12. Young under pressure, got it to Jones. Jones will pick up a few. Young was drilled for his trouble on that one by George Hinkle. We've got a timeout at the 2-minute warning. It's Cincinnati by 1. We have reached the 2-minute warning, and in case you joined us late, this is correct. 8-7, Cincinnati, the fastest 3 minutes in television, coming up at halftime with Chris Berman. After further review, Chris and Tom Jackson, they'll talk about 3 defenses on the rise. And then we'll come back to Candlestick for Joe's first half analysis.
Mike, we talked about Steve Young having to get the ball to his big play people. Since the first play of the game, Jerry Rice does not have a catch.
And I only remember one other that they have thrown to him, and that was well behind him. Young dumps it to Waters. Plenty of room to run. Ricky Waters dragged down a hand tackle by Darrell Williams, gain of 16. No timeouts left for the 49ers, but plenty of time on the clock. 1:43. There's Rice, and he'll get out of bounds after a gain of about 4. Stops the clock with 1:28 to go in the half.
Both sides of the ball here, Mike. If Cincinnati can hold San Francisco to a field goal or a field goal attempt, they will have done their job. San Francisco, I think, will be disappointed if they just come away with a field goal, because now they have Cincinnati in a predictable defense. They know basically where they are, so they can attack them.
Jerry Rice, coming into this game, had a streak of 22 straight catches for a first down or a touchdown. He made it 23 in the first quarter. That breaks that streak. Intended for Jones, but the linebacker, James Francis, makes the pick, his second of the year, and they did better than hold him to a field goal.
Well, they made a great play. What happens is Francis gets back into coverage. He's a great athlete. Make no bones about it. This guy is a good athlete, and I think that's the best way you describe him as an athlete, but Steve Young had pressure in his face, so he couldn't get the ball up the field. Francis goes down. Now watch him turn. See, he just turns at the right time. Runs real well for a guy 6'5", 250 pounds.
In the last 5 games, Steve Young had 1 interception. He has been picked off twice tonight. Fenner on the delay. And I don't think Cincinnati is going to put it up for grabs.
I'll tell you why you don't, because you have no timeouts. If Kenny Anderson and David Klingler had 3 timeouts, I think you let this kid mature and learn in a 2-minute drill. With no timeouts, I don't think you do that.
Of course, the 49ers don't have one either, so they can't stop it. And this will be an injury situation with Scott Brumfield, excuse me, the rookie offensive lineman, injured.
Now, what'll happen inside of 2 minutes when a player is hurt, what they're going to wind up doing is they will wind up taking, they should take 10 seconds off the clock before the ball is snapped.
Because the Bengals have none of their own timeouts.
They have none of timeouts left, and this is a injury timeout.
Brumfield, 6'8", 320 out of BYU, an undrafted free agent. And he moved into the right guard spot tonight.
Watch his right foot, number 72, right there. There we go. Does a good job of driving. See that ankle turn over? Turns over again. And one more time.
Oh, I've never seen that. Once is plenty.
And you're talking to Mike, you mentioned his weight, 320 pounds.
So can you imagine how much stress is put on that ankle when he turns it with that body weight? Coming up Saturday, NCAA Championship Saturday. Starting at noon Eastern, a pair of college football championships to be decided. Division III, Mount Union 13-0 against 11-1 Rowan. At Division II, Indiana, Pennsylvania 13-0 against North Alabama 13-0. Live action from both games beginning at noon Eastern. And thankfully, Brumfield up and able to walk off under his own power. And walking very gingerly.
And on the outside of his foot.
Dan Jones, another rookie, 6'7", 294 out of Maine. He's number 66. He'll check in. The clock is running again, approaching 50 seconds. And Klingler wants to throw, but dumps it short. Complete ball comes loose. The officials looking as if it was down. They're looking at each other, but nobody made a signal. Now they do. Two officials looked right at each other and would not make a call. Another official came running up and said he was down when the ball came loose. Don Griffin made the recovery for the 49ers. Boy, they took their time on that one.
Yeah, and I just don't like that call. I mean, that to me, that's the first not very intelligent thing they've done.
Oh, that's loose.
Well, no, it's not. No, it's not, because the defensive player has the ball pressed against the offensive player's body, and it doesn't come out till he hits the ground. So
all right, I'll go with
it's that rule.
And now they'll make sure. Green keeps it on the ground, tries to run out of trouble, pinned at the 30.
You know what I'll do if I'm Harold Green? I go into the locker room and I get myself a changed pair of spikes. He's running on too short of spikes out on this field.
And the clock will run out. That's the end.
Driving, Francis turns at the opportune moment, makes the interception to shut down a drive and not allow the 49ers even an opportunity at a field goal. Defense did its part. Offense has it in time of possession. Special teams coming up with the field goals when they have to.
Outstanding effort by the Bengals. They are down or ahead by 1 at the half. Back in a moment. Our ESPN crew suffered a great loss on Friday with the death of our longtime spotter, Gene Stayrook, who lost his battle with cancer. A loving husband and father, he was also a wonderful friend and will always be missed. Kick to Osdell Miles and Patrick Robinson. This is just for pride for the Bengals. There's a lot more at stake for the 49ers. We'll point out several things as we go along in the ballgame. Robinson from the goal line. Slips as he got out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Let's take a look at the first half stats. And rushing yards, 81 to 34. Cincinnati controlling the ball on the ground. In total yards, it isn't all that much, but the big one is yet to come.
That's right. And
time of possession.
Time of possession, and also turnovers. The 2 interceptions by the 49ers, and of course, 2-1 in time of possession in favor of the Bengals.
Green starts off at running back. And gets the first carry. Wedges his way out to about the 18-yard line, stopped by a whole host of San Francisco defenders.
David Klingler's done an excellent job of spreading the ball around. Look at this area up to 15 yards. That's the big key. That means he doesn't have to hold the ball long. He's not trying to force the ball down the field. When he's had to throw the ball to his backs, he's completed both passes he's tried. No wide receivers have caught a pass for the Cincinnati Bengals.
The interception he had should have been a touchdown. His man was open. Klingler with time throws underneath and has this to a rookie tight end, David Frisch, out of Colorado State. Only the 3rd catch of the year for David Frisch.
Very frustrating for the San Francisco defense, too. You've got a rookie quarterback. You figure you can get to him with pressure, except he's not holding the ball long enough for you to get there. And their tight ends are massive. Frisch is 260. McGee is 250. So your linebackers are playing bump and bump with him.
3rd and a long yard. Center dives forward. It depends on the mark. Mike Walter, the middle linebacker, was on the stop, and it is a first down. They have been so good in short yardage.
Well, Mike, and the key is they've given themselves opportunities in short yardage. You take a look at the first half, and in this first drive, they have had very few 3rd and longs.
And that's what they've been facing all year long until this point. Fenner and Green together in the backfield. Nice play fake by Klingler, then dumps it to Green. Harold Green running very hard tonight out to the 35-yard line. He was involved in a controversy early this year when David Shula, in a moment of frustration, said this may be the worst Bengal team ever. And Harold Green, who'd been pulled out of that game after a fumble, said, well, if this is the worst team ever, then David Shula must be the worst coach ever.
And I asked David Shula about that yesterday. He said that was over in one day. Great job of coaching. Handle your problems right away and get them behind you.
Gain of 8, 2nd and 2. And Harold Green having his best game of the season. They get another shot. Maybe one this time. Bring up 3rd and a yard. Green, 15 carries, 52 yards. His high was 68 against Kansas City.
Cincinnati has so much respect for the speed of the San Francisco defense going sideline to sideline. They figured that if they were going to make plays, they would have to make them in between the tackles.
This is Brumfield again, leaving the field limping. He was hurt earlier in the second quarter. And they said he had to have an IV at halftime because of bad cramps. And, of course, we saw him twist his ankle.
Oh, he's been 320. 320 times.
Cincinnati already over its rushing average for an entire game early here in the third quarter. 3rd and a yard. Fenner has it. That makes 6 out of 10 3rd and 1 conversions all year for the Bengals. You were right. They haven't been in that situation very often.
No, they haven't. And this is just a big push by the big guys up front versus a smaller line. Watch the push of the offensive line. See the hole? I mean, he's got the first down and 3 or 4 yards into the secondary before even a 49er can get a hand on him.
So it's a first down at the 44-yard line. Cincinnati already leading it 8-7. Frisch and McGee, a 2 tight end set. Pressure on Klingler, throws incomplete, intended for Carl Pickens. Pickens missed the last game with a sprained foot. And Klingler still having trouble connecting with wide receivers.
San Francisco 49ers defensively aren't stupid. They realize that Klingler hasn't gone to the wide receivers. So what you do is you gang up on the inside guys. You make them go outside. I think it's a good approach by Cincinnati saying, we've got to try it. Let's do it on 1st and 10 so we don't really hurt ourselves.
Klingler on 2nd and 10. Draw to Green. Showed some speed getting outside. A flag is down. Another flag is down. At the point of the tackle, it looked like Green would have a first down. Let's check the penalty markers, both of them. At least one is a hold.
I don't believe he repeated it. I think there were 2 holds that time against the Bengals.
Could have been.
Holding, number 89 on the offense. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 66 on the offense. 10 yards, still 2nd down.
That's Dan Jones who's in there for Brumfield. The other penalty was called on query downfield.
Right part, look at that, number 66 with a tackle on number 96, Dennis Brown. Well, they're doing everything to get him.
2nd and 20. Klingler with good protection. Throws intended for Pickens and overthrown by a couple of strides.
He had the route. I mean, he had a little hole for him in there. There's a lot. David Klingler has a lot of raw talent, Mike. I mean,
sure does.
He's a young guy, came out of college, having to learn how to develop other aspects of his game. Technically, I think he has a fair amount of work ahead of him. But mechanically, again, a little bit of work ahead of him. But he is developing rapidly and getting better with each week.
And he does have a gun. Third and 20. 4-man rush. Finally pressure. Now Klingler will try to get it himself. Slides. And he's safe at the 45-yard line. Romanowski tried to ring his bell.
smart, though. You don't throw the ball up for grabs. You've got momentum. You keep it. You run 5 minutes off the clock.
And Klingler comes up limping. That's Jay Schrader, who is the backup quarterback, and he'll get the warm-up off in a hurry.
Last week, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Los Angeles Raiders, and they gave the game ball to Jay Schrader's son, Chris, who's recovering from brain tumor operation and doing very well.
That was wonderful. Lee Johnson, the kick, and it's a fake. Johnson has it batted away. That will be an incomplete pass. Amp Lee on special teams. What a heads-up play.
Well, we told you they've got nothing to lose.
There is a flag down beyond the line of scrimmage.
Ineligible men downfield by the kickers. That penalty is declined. First down.
What a play by Amp Lee to have that presence of mind, not being suckered by the fake. And he was all over Lee Johnson.
Great play by San Francisco special teams. Watch the right side. They're trying to get it to number 58, but it's not going to work. He tries to throw it back. It's not going to happen. They cannot make the play.
49ers with great field position starting in Cincinnati territory. Waters jitterbugs outside, gets inside the 40-yard line. Darrell Williams shoved him out of bounds. And now Klingler being attended to on the sideline. And Jay Schrader doesn't have the helmet on yet, but he's warming up.
Been very productive, you see, in moving the sticks around. Got 5 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. Actually, much more productive than David Klingler, who's thrown 4 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Got a lot of work when Klingler missed a month with a back injury. 2nd and 3. Waters has the first down, trying to run over people to the 31-yard line. Williams again makes the tackle. We told you what a big play offense this has been, but tonight the big play offense has nearly disappeared. Young with only 100 yards passing and 2 picks. Jerry Rice has only 47 yards. Waters 37 yards rushing. John Taylor has a stinger. He's gone for the game. Young, too high for Williams, the tight end. And that's a pass you'll hardly ever see Steve Young make.
No, but you can't blame Steve Young for this one. You got to give a lot of credit to Alfred Williams, number 94. He's 6 feet 6 inches tall. He comes around and causes a problem in the throwing lane. We always talk about throwing lane. Watch this. It's going to come to your right part of your screen. Watch number 94. See him jump in the air? That caused Steve Young to throw it higher to Jamie Williams than he wanted to. Incomplete.
Now with Sanjay Beach as the wide receiver instead of John Taylor, he might have a better shot at doubling up Jerry Rice. Young looking toward Rice, instead throws short to Brent Jones. He's cut down at the 22-yard line. That will be about a yard shy of a first down. Mike Brim made the roll block.
What's the best way to take Jerry Rice out of a passing attack? Hit him at the line of scrimmage. Jerry Rice coming off the ball. Brim, they're just going to tie him up. They're going to disrupt the fluid nature, not by just the defensive back, but as he goes inside to the linebacker, makes Steve Young go outside to his backs in this tight end.
3rd and a yard for the 49ers. Tom Rathman back in, number 44. Movement up front. This is Waters, and he has the first down. There is a marker down. Let's see. And there goes Klingler to the locker room. There are X-ray facilities at all NFL stadiums, of course. And the offside call will go against the Bengals, so it would have been a first down anyway. And now left tackle Steve Wallace is down for San Francisco.
Number 96.
Fryer was the man who was offside. And Wallace, in obvious pain, will check on the veteran from Auburn when we come back. 7:57 to go, third quarter of play. Cincinnati leading by a point. The 49ers driving. Steve Wallace out of the ballgame. Harry Boatswain replaces him at left tackle. And Wallace in obvious discomfort as he left the field. First and 10, 49ers. Young. Inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Tim Crumride chased him down.
This is what happened to David Klingler. He makes his slide, which is perfectly fine. But he's got his right foot up in the air right there. See that right foot? Watch what happens. Somebody's going to come along and just kick it. There's the right foot. And there he gets kicked right on the upper part of the foot. Now he's walking towards the locker room. And just as he gets past the equipment cart, it looks like it just gives out on him.
Which makes you think that it's very doubtful that Klingler would come back in the ballgame tonight. Waters. To the corner, driven out of bounds. The 3, it will be another first down.
And that's something that Ricky Waters is doing a lot more of, Mike. He used to be a shake and bake dance kind of runner. What he's decided to do now is he's going to take defensive players on. He's not trying to outrun them. See how he stiff arms them, then lowers the shoulder in to try and pick up that extra yardage? This is a change in the running style of Ricky Waters.
He's big enough to do it at 212. First and goal. They spot the ball just inside the 2.
You see the touchdown going. You see Ricky Waters make the play. But what happens up front? Watch Tom Rathman. He's going to clear the way, and Ricky Waters just going to follow the block. Number 44 in the hole. Ricky Waters up over the top for 6.
And that has been Tom Rathman's great value for this club ever since he was the 3rd-round draft choice out of Nebraska. He is just a sensational lead blocker. Kofer for the point after has it. And the 49ers finally regain the lead on the Bengals, 14-8, and Ricky Waters caps off the touchdown drive. Regains the lead on top of Cincinnati, 14-8, with 6:32 to go in the third quarter. That scoring drive took only 3:09, 44 yards. Ricky Waters scored from 2 yards out, and of course, the big play that set it up was the fake punt that didn't work.
And the thing is, watch number 34. This is a screen that they've got set up to try and make the play. Great job by Amp Lee knocking it back. The Bengals did have it set up.
Miles and Robinson are deep to receive with 6:32 to go, third quarter. The heavily favored 49ers lead by 6. Kofer booms one, 5-6 yards deep in the end zone, and the Bengals will have to start from their 20. Jay Schrader will quarterback the Bengals when we return. Transamerica Building, part of the downtown San Francisco skyline, with a 6-point lead. And Steve Wallace with a badly sprained ankle, done for the night, being carted off for the 49ers. Jay Schrader takes over at quarterback for the injured David Klingler. And they'll go with Harold Green and Romanowski right there, and Green goes down, retreats a few more yards, and he'll lose 8. Artie Smith covers him, but Romanowski was the guy who strung out the play.
What happened here to the Bengals on this particular play is what they did not do in the first half. They did not commit big negative yardage plays for themselves. I also think that with the change in quarterback, you can see a little change in the philosophy of the Bengals. They can get the ball to their wide receivers because Jay Schrader's ability to have played in this game longer.
49ers really running around on defense. A couple of players acting like they don't know where they're supposed to be right now. They'll go with Green on the delay, back across the original line of scrimmage to the 22. And there's David Klingler limping back toward the sideline. Looked like he may have hyperextended his foot when he was hit. And we do not have an injury report as yet on the second-year quarterback.
Hey, I like his gutsy nature. I mean, he comes back out, he's dressed and ready to go to work. Whether he can or not, I'm not sure. But I like the attitude an awful lot.
3rd and 8 for Schrader. Four-man rush. Time to throw, and it's dropped. Probably would not have picked up the first down anyway, as Hall was all over Carl Pickens.
Carl Pickens did not play last week because of a foot problem. Comes off the ball, looking for that zone underneath. Ball hits him right in the hip. He doesn't make the play. That's just a good throw, bad catch.
Looked like he was concentrating on where the defense was. Got his head around just in time for the ball to get there. Dexter Carter waiting on Lee Johnson's punt. And you can feel the momentum swinging towards San Francisco. Johnson left foots it out of there. Carter from the 35. And he'll pick up 8 yards on the return after a punt of 43. Steve Tobar makes the tackle on special teams. And Goodyear blimps log over 100,000 miles every year covering major sporting events. Cameraman tonight, Glenn Hampton, giving us our shots. Mike Brown, owner and general manager of the Cincinnati Bengals, part owner, has seen his club play very hard tonight. Here comes the reverse to Jerry Rice. If he can't throw it to him, hand it to him. And Rice ducks under a tackle as he crosses into Cincinnati territory. Fernandez Vincent, number 34, was intent on doing some damage.
I love the way Jerry Rice runs with the football. Just watching him run, you get excited because he's so fluid. When he makes a decision, he goes up the field. There he is, just moving along gracefully. Now he's got the ball. Now watch when he makes his decision. He sees the hole. Now it's straight up the field. No hesitation, no wasted movement.
2nd and a yard. Waters. First down and more. The Cincinnati 42-yard line. Vincent came up against him. Crumry and Ricardo McDonald were in on the stop.
Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator, is basically doing what he wants on his side of the ball. He has disrupted San Francisco's rhythm. It looks like they may be starting to get back to it now. I think he's going to have to do something a little bit out of the ordinary, possibly bring a couple backers or a defensive back to disrupt Young even more.
He certainly kept Steve Young out of his rhythm tonight and picked him off twice. Waters again. And now they're trying to do what Cincinnati has been doing to them and just pound away. About 5 yards for Waters. Darrell Williams makes the tackle. And Waters comes up limping a little bit. He's carried for 50 yards on 11 tries tonight and is going to come out of the lineup.
He's been nursing a banged-up knee. Now, they lose maybe a little bit of speed, but like you mentioned earlier, Mike, Mark Logan has played so well for him.
Taylor and Wallace are already out for the night. And now Logan checks in as the single running back on 2nd and 6. Young with time to throw over the middle, almost picked again. Fernandez Vincent had a shot at it right in his hands and dropped it.
Hey, Steve Young is awfully lucky this doesn't get picked off. That is a deep crossing pattern, but he waits for him to cross the hash mark. See where Steve is? Now, if you look at this, once he crosses past where, see that? You can't see what's coming from the other side, and what's coming from the other side is a defensive back, Darrell Williams. Jerry Rice, people still getting hands on him all over the place. That doesn't disrupt the route. But what happens is Darrell Williams, who's having a great year. Darrell Williams probably make the Pro Bowl if he played on a team that had a bunch of wins.
Ron Lynn said he has done everything you could ask a free safety to do. 3rd and 6. Young trying to throw on rhythm, and Rice couldn't hold this one. And 3-4 Bengals got there in a hurry. You have to hand it to Cincinnati for the way they play tonight.
What they're doing is they're making Jerry Rice conscious of defensive people around him. He comes off. They get a hand on him, disrupts him a little bit. Now as he goes up for the ball, he didn't concentrate on the football that time.
You're right.
He saw that safety come and deliver. Watch this. See, that ball hits him right in the head. That was a header.
They are out to go for it on 4th and 6 from the 37-yard line. It would be a 54-yard field goal attempt, and they're bypassing that. Young with time, now Chase. And he has the first down to the 30-yard line. What a weapon.
See, I just think that's a great job by Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator. Here's a call where you know if they're going to drop people back to cover your wide receivers and tight ends, you've got the ultimate weapon at quarterback, and he'll make a play for you. They are just not going to let Jerry Rice go anywhere without getting hit by people.
Oh,
there's
Ricardo
a traffic jam.
McDonald.
Now Rice wants to go. I mean, Young wants to go to him, but Rice is on the ground. So Steve Young shows his great athletic ability and makes a play.
You're allowed one chuck, and brother, that was a chuck. Waters cuts it outside. Waters close to another first down at the 20-yard line.
Harris Barton, the right tackle, is going to come all the way across, make the block, and allow Waters to get outside. Watch number 79 and 64. You see him lead through? Good seal block. He gives Waters an opportunity to pick up 8 more yards.
And Nate Singleton, number 88 out of Grambling, a wide receiver, was in there and threw a good block downfield. First down, Niners. Waters again behind McIntyre. 5 more. Darrell Williams made the tackle.
You know, it's interesting, Mike. Offensive philosophies change as a game goes on. Mike Shanahan sees his offense struggling. He knows they're jamming Jerry Rice. If they're going to jam Jerry Rice, let him get a hand on him. That acts as a block. So that means that you don't have as many guys to go tackle Ricky Waters. So conversely, you know, Shanahan's adjustment is now, all right, we'll run to where they're trying to jam our wide receivers.
Beach and Singleton are now in at wide receivers for Taylor and Rice. Taylor done for the Eagles. Waters and Crumry hit him at the line of scrimmage. He squirted forward for a couple. Crumry, you have to admire this guy. He had such a devastating leg injury, so similar to the one that you had, Joe, in the Super Bowl. 5 times during his career as a nose man, he has led this team in tackles. That's one of the most remarkable stats I've ever heard.
And he still has a rod in it. Jesse Sapolo, the center for the San Francisco 49ers, he had a rod in his leg for 4 years from 86 to 90. So you got 2 rodmen playing against one another.
Rice is back in, so is Logan with Waters on 3rd and 4. Young wants to throw for it and throws to Logan. First down inside the 5-yard line. The 49ers leading by 6 on a drive, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Back to San Francisco after this. Thank you, Chris. 14-8 our score here. San Francisco over Cincinnati, a quarter to play. Of course, there were some other fellows that had outstanding days today. Dante Jones, an interception, 36-yard return of a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Huge win for them. Del Rio, 8 tackles, and had 3 of the 5 interceptions for the Vikings. And Ron Moore, 126 yards rushing for Joe Bugle.
I'll tell you right up front right now, Dante Jones gets my vote for the NFC middle linebacker for the Pro Bowl.
He has been terrific.
He and Donnell Wolford have really played sensationally for Dave Wonsent's defense.
Randy Kirk showing a wear and tear of another night in the NFL. First and goal for the 49ers from the 4. Waters. Touchdown. Well, it's taken them longer than anyone would have expected, but they're starting to get some breathing room.
Well, they're starting to travel short distances, and that's the key in this game. Is you don't want to go long distances all the time. This time he follows Mark Logan, and the rest of that right side into the end zone. Jesse Sapolo winds up on the ground. Ricky Waters winds up on top of him in the end zone.
Waters, 15 carries, 69 yards, and he scored 3 times. Alfred Williams showing a little bit of frustration after having been ahead, and Cofer knocks the extra point through. So with 14:57 to go in the ballgame, the 49ers lead it 21-8. Cisco, with the Cincinnati Bengals in control using their ground game, the 49ers have taken the same page out of their playbook.
Well, what happens is we've seen that Jerry Rice has been bumped around all over the place, so Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator of the 49ers, says, hey, look, I'm not going to fight it. You want to go out and bump Jerry Rice, that's fine. We'll run Ricky Waters and Mark Logan at you.
And they have done it very, very well and built a 21-8 lead. You can't take everything away, and the 49ers certainly with a good enough ground game to take advantage of what they were giving them. And now we'll see how the Bengals can respond with Jay Schrader at quarterback. Still no injury report on Klingler. Robinson from the 5. And takes it out across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. I know you're going to join us on Sunday. It's noon Eastern, NFL Game Day. You wouldn't want to miss Chris Herman, Tom Jackson, Chris Mortensen, or Joe Theismann. They'll give you the most comprehensive pregame show. And it's 7, prime time, all the highlights of all the games. And then be with us at 8 o'clock. Joe and I at Jack Murphy Stadium, the Packers against the Chargers. And the Chargers, with Stan Humphrey at quarterback, have gotten right back into the picture.
A healthy Stan Humphrey.
Steve Tovar is the injured player, hurt on kickoff. And we will check on his condition when we come back to San Francisco. The right hip. And he's on the sideline watching Jay Schrader, acquired as a free agent from the Raiders. Schrader dumps it short to Green. Walter makes the tackle as Green gets out to about the 38-yard line. And Green's slow to get up.
Jay Schrader's played an awful lot of football for this Cincinnati Bengals team, and it's interesting, when they brought him here, Mike, they made it clear that David Klingler was the starter, Jay was going to be a backup. He's accepted his role as a backup and teacher and been a great influence on Klingler.
Second, call it a yard. And Green will try to get the first down, and does, across the 40-yard line. Another thing about Jay Schrader, the last couple of years when he was with the Raiders, and we go out to do at least one of their games every year, he had matured so much at that point in his career and said, it's not going to get to him anymore if things don't go well. I've had an outstanding career, been in this league a long time. I'll play as hard as I can. If it goes well, great. If it doesn't, well, there's life after football.
You know, and that graphic shows you he's still very productive. 17 for 31 against the Oilers.
Derek Fenner, number 44, checks into the backfield. Schrader with time, throws short, complete, and got it to David Frisch, the rookie tight end, his second catch of the night. Mike Walter on the tackle.
You know, Mike, this game's not over. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals have got to stay with what they're doing. Go down, get yourself a score, let your defense go out and stop the 49ers and get a score. I mean, they're still in this game. They didn't come here to be respectable. They came here to win a football game.
And they're only 2 touchdowns away from doing that. 2nd and 4. Oscar Miles checks in as the deep man in the eye. You saw Green limping moments ago. Fenner, the short man, will get the carry. Got through Romanowski for a couple of extra yards, half-yard shy of a first down. Romanowski's been in on a lot of tackles tonight. Came in as their leading tackler in the ball for the season.
Yeah, when I talked to Bill on Friday, he said, I think they're going to run at us. I said, Romo, I think you're right.
It's prophetic.
They have done it tonight. Well, you know, these guys know exactly what the state of their defense is. People ran against the elephant before. That's the reason they went to the 4-man front. Now they just don't have the bodies to go to it.
Exactly. They will measure, but it's about a length of a football short. And will bring up 3rd in that distance. Still plenty of time with 12:34 to go in the game, so you're right about David Shula. You don't want to abandon the game plan right now. And they have rushed for 112 yards tonight. Their average is 80.8, which is 27th in the NFL. Last year, they were 8th in the NFL in rushing. Green went over 1,000 yards.
This is a football team, Mike, that has 30 players on its roster that have 2 years or less experience in this league. This is the beginning of a foundation of a very, very good football team for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Schrader brings them out on 3rd and a foot. Play action. Schrader with time, floats it for Miles, who made a great catch. Holy cow, what a grab by Osdell Miles, a gain of 22.
Nice fake by Jay Schrader, selling the run all the way, covers the ball up, hides the ball, and shows an excellent touch pass. Now, this is something he's learned. Watch him get down on the ball. See him hide it from the defense? Now, he lays this thing in. When I played with Jay in Washington, he'd have tried to rifle that ball someplace else. Now he's got a nice touch, very complete quarterback. Beautiful tight spiral. Give your guy a chance to make a play. Oh, what a great catch.
Big play for the Bengals. First down inside the 30. Schrader back to work and hits Pickens. Caught it, then fumbled, and now they're saying incomplete. Boy, that looked like a catch and a fumble. And, Joe, you mentioned during a commercial before Jay came in, that's the pattern he would throw and throw well.
Klingler doesn't throw it very well, but on this particular play, what's going to happen is Pickens has got to get both feet on the ground to have possession. There's the throw. He's in the air. The ball's out. He doesn't have possession. That's a good call by the official. That's in and gone. That's how quickly he had to make the decision.
2nd and 10, but a bullet right to him. Green dumped as he got to the 25-yard line. Brings up a big 3rd down and 7. Have to say you're in 2-down territory here.
They continue to throw the ball to the running backs and tight ends. They're trying to go to the wide receivers now. Actually, Pickens has dropped 3 balls and had 1 picked off behind him. Not his fault.
3rd and 7. The pass short, and it was intended for the tight end McGee. He wasn't within 5 yards of it. Got caught up in traffic.
Now, again, the footing is getting a little slippery out there. If you don't have the right cleats, you can't play this game. Watch this. He's going to try and work. He just falls down. His feet get away from him. Tim McDonald doesn't even have to move, and he just slides into him.
David Shula keeps the offense on the field on 4th and 7 with 10:47 left to go in the game. He needs 2 touchdowns. Four-man rush. Schrader with time. Throws for the end zone. Overthrown. Griffin covering Pickens. And they turn it over on downs. Timeout on the field. 10:41 left. Still 21-8. Over the Bengals with 10:41 to go in the ball game. Sellout crowd here in San Francisco. Our Bud Light storyline. Young, only 123-yard passing tonight and 2 rare interceptions. Waters has been the offense in the second half with 76 yards. Klingler out with a sprained right hip. Total yardage, not much to write home about for either ball club, but San Francisco 200 yards under its average for the last 5 games. Back to the ground and Waters. Not much there this time. Coming up from the secondary, Fernandez Vincent in a hurry. Cincinnati's defense, which has played well many times this year, has really done a number on San Francisco's passing game tonight. The one that was red hot coming in. But right now they have to come up with more big plays. Down 21-8. Young to throw, and that ball may have been tipped as he intended for Amp Lee in the flat.
Cincinnati is still taking the wide receivers out of the game for the San Francisco 49ers. They're just continuing to bump Jerry Rice wherever he goes.
And you have to wonder why somebody else hasn't been doing this before, and will they do it from now on?
I think if people try and they miss, then you're going to let Jerry run an awful long way. Tonight, the Bengals have done a good job. They haven't missed.
He's the first guy I try to take out. Time of possession, Cincinnati winning the second half, but they're behind on the scoreboard. Young with all day to throw, and this time he will hit Mr. Rice at the 44-yard line. Gain of 18 yards. Rice, of course, over 1,000 yards again.
You see that Chuck at the line of scrimmage. Now he continues to work across the ball. That's a great job of protection by the offensive line. Jerry Rice just making the play. Nobody in center field, just letting them cross. They do a good job of clearing out. All the receivers, as a matter of fact, the whole entire offense, linemen, backs, receivers, all know the pass route. So they know how to create blocking lanes. They know how important it is to clear out for the other guy.
Rathman and Lee are the running backs. Young to throw. Sets and fires, nearly intercepted again. Steve Tovar had it in his hands. That's 2 interceptions that have been dropped by the Bengals. You talk about passing lanes.
Watch the left part of your screen. The line does a good job of creating the passing lane, but this one's just thrown a little bit behind. Steve Young not having the sharpest of nights, and Steve Tovar is going to try and put a hole in the candlestick turf.
2nd and 10. Amp Lee with a carry, and he's dumped in the backfield. George Hinkle, number 98, makes the tackle. A loss of a couple.
You talk about different things that the defense try and do. Watch number 98. He's just going to try and take a hard inside, and that's going to disrupt everything that the offensive line wants to do. He fills the hole where Guy McIntyre pulls, and there's nobody there to block him. He's 5 yards deep in the backfield before anybody can get to him.
So it's 3rd and 11 with 8:34 left to go in the game. Young with time, goes deep for Rice. Couldn't hold it. That is a catch he'll make 99 times out of 100.
Marcelo Simmons is beat on this play. This, again, was an adjustment made by Steve Young and Jerry Rice. Watch this when he throws his hand up. There it is. I see a hand go up. What that hand tells him is that whatever route we had on is off. I'm going up the field. And that time, he just doesn't make the catch. I mean, you expect Jerry Rice to catch everything. He is human. We'll grant that, although at the higher end of it. On this particular play, it's a perfectly thrown pass that goes incomplete.
Boy, beautiful pass by Young. Patrick Robinson back to get the punt of Klaus Wilmsmeyer. Short. And takes a 49er roll inside the 20-yard line. A 40-yard kick, no return. 8 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the ballgame. Still 21-8 Niners. Down at Fisherman's Wharf. He gained about 12 pounds in 3 days coming to San Francisco. Cincinnati takes over at its own 16-yard line. 1st and 10. They need 2 scores. Schrader throws short and incomplete, intended for Pickens, and Griffith was all over him.
I just don't believe, you've got 2 very different types of quarterbacks on this Bengal football team. Jay Schrader is a stronger arm, more rhythm type of guy who I think can throw the ball more effectively outside. David Klingler wants to set up, get rid of the ball within the rhythm, work inside. So it's going to take a little adjustment for Ken Anderson to get Jay in his rhythm.
Schrader has time, throws complete, should be a 1st down. Near the 22-yard line, Jeff Query makes the catch. The first grab by a wide receiver tonight, and there's 7:52 to go in the game.
Talking to Jeff Query when the Bengals practiced here at Candlestick last night, he said, Jay Schrader and I have been able to hook up really well. Good set and fire by Jay. Keeps the ball down low. Query gets down on, having his best year in the 5 that he's played in the league. Been plagued with a lot of injuries prior to this year.
Has over 500 yards receiving, which is a career high. They thought a lot of him at Green Bay, but he was always hurt.
That's the big thing. I mean, you know, if a guy can't be on the field, it's tough to keep him on your roster. Now he's on the field and playing like they expected him to play. Unfortunately, he's in a different uniform.
Gives him some deep speed. There are the numbers now, career highs in receptions also. Draw play to Fenner. Derek Fenner across the 40 to the 45-yard line following Tom Scott, his rookie left tackle. A gain of 20 for Fenner.
The Bengals in a hurry-up offense, not allowing San Francisco to make substitutions.
Big rush on Schrader, and he just got rid of it in time. Threw it at the feet of Fenner. Todd Kelly on the blitz. Prime Monday comes your way tomorrow night at 7:30. Mike Tirico, Joe Theismann, and Craig James preview the Monday night game between the Eagles and the Cowboys. And that includes live reports from Texas Stadium with Andrea Kramer. Chris Mortensen will have all the news around the league. And Randall Cunningham is the subject of downtown Julie Brown going backstage. 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern, Prime Monday. 2nd and 10 for the Bengals. Comes a blitz. They pick it up. Schrader with time. Query again. First down and got out of bounds at the San Francisco 43-yard line.
Nice job by the offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals. That time they saw the blitz coming from Jay's right side. Sets and fires. Again, now working the ball to the wide receivers. You're seeing a different offensive philosophy.
They want the screen. Now they throw it over the middle, and there's a flag for interference. Don Griffin all over the intended receiver. Patrick Robinson had Griffin draped on him. Looked like Schrader wanted a screen and then threw it downfield.
He did a nice job, you know. It's a nice job adjusting the pressure.
Number 29 on the defense. First down.
There comes the pressure up the middle. Jay just strong arms this one, but you can see the interference over the top by Griffin. No question about contact before the ball ever got there.
Automatic first down at the 36-yard line. Fenner just a yard as Merton Hanks came up from the secondary and got the first hit, held him to a short gain. 136 yards rushing for the Bengals tonight. That is a season high.
And that time, McDonald and the safeties were a little closer to the line of scrimmage. Bill McPherson, the defensive coordinator, wants to try and get Tim McDonald close to the line.
Schrader with time, throws, incomplete. Would have been a first down to Pickens, but Magruder was right on top of it. Four-year man out of Kent State who comes into the nickel situation.
Top part of your screen, upper left. Carl Pickens, number 80, goes down, runs a stop route. See, he's bothered by that foot. I mean, you can see it. Nice play by Magruder, but it took Pickens about 2 steps longer than normal to stop. He's still not 100%, and if this game was played on a turf field, he wouldn't even be playing it.
3rd and 9. Schrader on the roll. And throws incomplete, and they intended it again for Pickens, who fell down again. And comes up limping.
Hey, come on, I need you, baby. Go on back in there. I need you.
This is a dash pattern. He's supposed to push it up the field. Getting a little hand check. Now as he comes down, he's just taking forever to stop. Slips. I mean, he's on a bad foot.
Joe, he's got to go back and tell him he can't do it, and they have to stop throwing to him.
I think so. I think they've got to, you know, they're not going to be able to win with him on the field because he can't do what he wants to do and should be able to do. I admire the effort.
4th down, and they'll go for it. And incomplete. Griffin was on top of Query at the 20-yard line. And the ball went right through. So the Bengals again turn it over on downs deep in 49er territory. Left to go in the ball game, and this win tonight would give the 49ers a full 2-game pad over the New Orleans Saints, who lost earlier today. And more than that, it would keep the 49ers even with the New York Giants in the race for the home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and keep them ahead of Dallas, the team they've lost to. And it's a big one for George Seifert. And the Bengals have done everything tonight they could to take it away from him. Anthony is the single set back behind Young. And Young right to Brent Jones. Jones trying to run through Williams. Williams trying to strip the ball. And Jones doing a great job of hanging on to it.
This is a great audible by Steve Young. The Bengals have got 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. He knows that nobody's near the safety. Look at this. 8 guys there. He knows there's nobody over in this area. So Young audibles. Brent Jones comes underneath the tackle, runs a little pick at the line of scrimmage, winds up picking up a big gain just for the great presence of Steve Young, knowing what to do with the football and where to go.
And then Darrell Williams has to try to tackle the 230-pound tight end. 1st and 10 from the Bengals, 43. Lee. Room to run off the right side. There's a flag down, and Lee is taken down to the 31-yard line. Fernandez Vincent. And this one is coming back. Maybe that's why he had such a nice hole.
Holding, number 61 on the offense. 10 yards, still 1st down.
Jesse Sapolu, the veteran center, called for the hold. Here's the last 4 games. Atlanta had been hot until today. Then at Detroit. Houston, that should be an interesting matchup with the way the Oilers are going. And then they close January 3rd with Philadelphia.
And the possibility of Philadelphia having Randall Cunningham back looms towards the end of the season. So they'll be a better football team.
1st and 20 for Steve Young, back in his own territory, 47. Rice, as the defender fell down, Marcelo Simmons lost his footing, and Jerry Rice was wide open. Gain of 18. Simmons, a rookie out of SMU.
Remember Carl Pickens trying to come out of a route. Watch the difference between a guy, first of all, who's an all-world, plus on good feet. See him stop and get out of that route. He leaves Marcelo Simmons just absolutely struggling on the ground, but still, even if he kept his footing, I don't think he would have stopped him.
Gain of 18, so it's 2nd and 2. Clock stop with 4:39 left in the game. San Francisco trying to put it away. Amp Lee slipped and went down 2 yards short of a 1st down at the 35. Another good play by Darrell Williams, the safety, coming up hard.
We talked about the proficiency of this offense, and what you have to do is get the ball to your big play people. And in this case, this is Jerry Wright's receiving chart. You'll see that they've really tried to go deep to him quite a bit. Everything over 15 yards tonight is where they've tried to get the ball to him and have been fairly effective. Of course, an interception on 1. You know, he catches 2 out of 6 down there.
3rd and 2. Mark Logan and Lee are the backs. And movement up front. That was the right guard, Ralph Tam, who got an early jump.
Mike, this is basically a football game where the Cincinnati Bengals offensively wanted to try and control the ball anywhere between 34 and 35 minutes. They have. turning point in this game came on the fake punt.
You're right. Absolutely.
Amp Lee, individual great effort stopped that from being a continuing drive first down.
And a tremendous swing of momentum one way or the other, whether they make it or don't. And Lee made sure they didn't. That's good. Carter in at running back for the first time on 3rd and 7. Comes the blitz. Young overthrows. Carter coming out of the backfield. He was well covered by Rod Jones. So it'll be 4th and 7.
Daniel Stubbs coming up the middle that time, again putting pressure on him.
Of course, the Bengals will go home, it looks right now, with their 11th loss in 12 games, but they will go home knowing that they drew up a very good game plan and executed it very well.
And I think they may also have laid the groundwork for some other people who come in to play the 49ers.
I think you're absolutely right. Wilmsmeyer to kick. Bengals may come after him. There is nobody back. Patrick Robinson has come up. Wilmsmeyer did his job. Just got it out of there. And more than that, he kills it at the 1. Great job by Wilmsmeyer. And a chance to celebrate for the 2-year man out of Louisville. You pundit, it's a sinking feeling when they're coming.
You betcha. The other thing is too is when you've got a fake play called and you pretty much think it's going to go. This is a key play. Lee Johnson, the punter, is back. They fake it. Number 34 moving up in the middle to try and make the play. And what happens is it turns around, leads to Ricky Waters going in for the touchdown, and you really look at a momentum swinging play in the game, no question.
Bengals now backed up all the way to their 1-yard line. They try to get Fenner with some room, and he pounds out to about the 2. And some pushing and shoving going on after the play.
I've always loved this part of the field to try and take a shot deep. The reason why is the defense has to be conscious of defending 98 yards of the playing field. And if you do try and go up top, you might get it. But if you don't, you're sure going to back off those corners so that if you want to throw a 10-yard route and get a first down, it's a little bit easier.
Schrader has one wide receiver. That's Query to this side. Goes short over the middle out to about the 9-yard line. Tim McDonald with the big hit on the tight end McGee. They'll be about a yard shy of a first down.
First, when you talk to Tim McDonald, you ask him, why did you want to become a San Francisco 49er? He was a free agent. He said it was a chance to get to the Super Bowl. He knew this football team, having lost last year, was going to be hungry, and he really felt like that the defensive side of the ball was the reason why they didn't get a shot into the Super Bowl.
3rd and a yard. Fenner straight up the middle, has the first down across the 16-yard line. Now time is the big enemy of the Bengals. 2:23 to go in the game. And San Francisco will back off and let them run it as often as they would like. Schrader throws short and knocked down by Magruder, intended for Pickens. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in San Francisco. The 49ers lead by 13. Trailing by 13 with 2 minutes left to go in the game. Tonight, NFL Charities announced a grant to the National Hispanic Scholarship Fund. Established in 1975, this fund has helped more than 20,000 Hispanic American students attend college. NFL Charities was formed so that the NFL clubs could collectively make grants to worthy national causes. In recent years, NFL Charities has made commitments of more than $14 million. The story for tonight, look at the averages for the 49ers in the last 5 games. Nearly 450 yards in total offense, 38 points. The Bengals defense has done the job tonight, held them to only 286 yards and 21 points, but it's going to go down as a loss anyway. Schrader clanks that one off of Robinson. Looked like it hit him in the hip.
There's been 3 of those tonight by the wide receivers on those crossing patterns. It's a tough It's actually a very difficult throw to make because you're trying to squeeze the ball between defensive linemen rushing, offensive linemen, linebackers dropping, and you're trying to hit a moving target, moving through all that traffic. You've got to throw the ball crisply, and the guys don't have a tendency to concentrate because there's a lot of big guys waiting for them.
Well, Schrader's doing his part. He's throwing it. Scrambling out of the pocket. Throws on the run, and it's caught up at the 30-yard line. Query makes the grab. It was not a Pro Bowl type of Young for any of these three stars. Pro Bowl type of night for any of these three stars. Young, 13 out of 25, 2 picks. Jerry Rice, 83 yards, but most of them near the end of the ball game, and was banged around like he was in a pinball machine. Waters, 77 yards on 17 carries, and he controlled the second half.
Well, what it shows you is the balance of this offense. If you can't throw the ball, then we'll run it. That's why Ricky's had 3 touchdowns.
Schrader backing up, tries to throw it to his tight end, McGee, who was just back there to block. And Schrader whistled one by him with 1:44 left. Schrader very calm and collected, isn't he?
Yeah, you know, he's down to 205. He's lost some weight. He's going to play a long time in this league. I mean, you've got 2 more teams coming in. He certainly is the quality of a starting quarterback. If he gets an opportunity to go someplace again, gets out of the pressure of L.A. and all the situations that he had there.
Certainly we send out our best wishes for the quick recovery of his son, Chris. Schrader under pressure, flips it to Robinson. Got a great block at the sideline.
Wesley Carroll came back and helped Patrick Robinson pick up 4 more yards.
He unloaded on Michael Magruder, who never saw him.
Michael says, I'm all right. I just figure out what state I'm in. Nice job with Jay getting the strong arm of the ball. Watch this block, the right part of your screen. Bang. Head knocker. There's a major collision.
And Joe Walter, who was about 25 yards away from that play, is the injured Bengal, the right tackle. A lot of guys shaken up tonight. A minute 26 left in the game.
There's Cincinnati's time of possession, 35-23. David Shula said one of the keys was going to be to hold it, time of possession, in their favor. But you're just up against such a vast, diversified offense with so many different weapons.
I think what David Shula was being informed about is that injury cost him a timeout because we're inside 2 minutes in the ball game. They take Walter off the field. So he would have 2 left. Said his team hasn't quit all year long, and they certainly haven't tonight. They have fought the 49ers with that potent offense very, very hard.
There's Randy Kirk. And you know, there's something about blood in this game. Guys refuse to wipe it off, especially linebackers. Linebackers, like, it's their badge of courage. This is a picture that Randy Kirk is going to have for the rest of his life that everybody's going to look at and say, now there is one tough guy. Personally, I think he's a little sick to have that blood all over his face, but he's really one tough guy.
Schrader unloads. Intended for Robinson, well overthrown. He was double covered. Eric Davis had him outside. Coming up next, Sports Center, Dan Patrick and Gary Miller. We'll catch you up on the day in sports. NFL Week 14. Defense does it again. The Rockets, are they going on another streak? And Bill Lambier, our Sunday night conversation. Be tough to interview Bill. He's liable to reach out and whack you one.
Nah, not anymore. He's mellow.
No.
Yeah, he is. I saw him down in Florida earlier this year. You know, those Notre Dame guys ain't mellow after time, Mike.
Yeah. Bill mellow at about 80.
He'll be a heck of a golfer now. He will definitely work on his game.
2nd and 10 for Schrader. Robinson drilled as he got the ball. Tim McDonald right in the small of the back. just hit 1 minute. Schrader throws short where he can't come up with it. Well, Joe, the final score appears that it's going to be what we expected, the 49ers winning, but an entirely different game than we expected.
Yeah, I think the Cincinnati Bengals basically did what they had to do. They lack offensive firepower. I think it was an excellent effort by David Klingler. But what I've seen in this game is the exposure of the San Francisco defense having to go back to that elephant and just not being able to stop offenses like they should. Next week, they should get Ted Washington back. That'll help them out a little bit. But they're going to have to play with a four-man front as we get closer and into the playoffs.
Schrader trying to keep the drive alive. Throws off his back foot, completes the center, but he won't get the first down. Ball came loose. That could be a first down on the recovery at the 49-yard line. And now they're going to say it was down at impact, and they wouldn't have given that one to him anyway, I don't believe.
Ball goes where the ball was fumbled. First down.
Remember the rule.
Only the man who fumbled.
Well, in the last 2 minutes of the game, this is the Dave Casper rule, only in the last 2 minutes of the game where if the ball is fumbled forward, the only player that can recover it is the player that actually fumbled it. It goes back to the spot if it's recovered by an offensive player, and that's what we have here.
So George Seifert can finally breathe a sigh of relief. We talked to him about watching his team in such a brilliant streak on offense, how much fun it must be to be on the sideline. He said, you don't really have any fun because you're concentrating on things so much. What are you going to do next? How is this working? How's that working? He hasn't had any fun tonight.
He didn't have a lot of fun tonight. But they do get a win, and I think that's important. This has got to be a scary game. When you're playing as well as the 49ers are playing, you've got somebody coming in who's got 10 losses. You can say what you want to your football players, but they're not stupid. They know that they're a better football team. David Shula doing an excellent job. George Seifert continues on his roll.
That's three, baby.
That's it. The 49ers have won it at home. Their 13th straight an NFL team record. Our final score, San Francisco 21, Cincinnati 8. For Joe Theismann and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. So long from San Francisco.
Want a taste you can't resist? There's
everything you need, local, long distance, and cellular, to let you be there now. Toyota Ski World is a presentation of ESPN in association with Worldwide Ski Corporation.
oh, the wisdom is reaching far beyond what you've seen, and the try